Slapz and Trapz Radio, Volume 1, the compilation album presented by C. Austin, available right now on all streaming platforms everywhere.
It's finance, it's lack of father in the home, it's family broke up.
Right now you got 4 in 10 children that have an incarcerated parent in Detroit.
Yeah.
So
say that again. 4 in 10.
Stat came out just this week. 4 in 10 children in Detroit have an incarcerated parent. So that's a large percentage, and so they're not getting proper, family interaction, family unit, family guidance, mentorship, and so that's out
proper
there.
Resources
out there, and you people think that the new generation, well, some of these things have already been resolved, but no, they're not resolved, and they're still there. And now we're in the building authority has torn down so much valuable housing. Okay, some windows were missing or such like that. Now we're ending up with an availability and affordable housing crisis, which I've been working in, and now that's going to change the entire character of Detroit, and they're going to force low-income people, middle-class and low-income people out of Detroit, and the prices are going higher and higher and higher, and now the landlords want they're just following the property taxes and such like that. So one of the ideas, if you vote for Mcdonald for mayor, is that he wants to try to do something with residential property taxes. Wayne State has already studied that. The owner-occupied residential property taxes should be reduced, dramatically down to zero, and it's possible.
And DTE, man, that DTE is out of control,
DTE,
man.
Yes.
Well, at the end of the day, I can raise the taxes at a city level to make them pay the lean pressure on you guys. But you guys gonna have the city of Detroit gonna have to pick up their picket signs. They're gonna pick up there and go down to DTE and boycott the headquarters. Other than that, I can create. I was thinking about, I'm trying to get off the grid at one of my properties and create solar panels.
Right.
Okay. These recreational centers I have, where these recs and all these different facilities that we have. I went to Randolph Vocational Center, where I learned carpentry, masonry, and electrical. So I'm a crafty. That's how I got into real estate. And so those facilities is not being promoted. We need hands-on skills and facilities. One of the rec centers that Coleman A. Young they just remodeled.
It was like 11 million, something like that. Yeah, but you should have stuck
$2 million in there just for solar panels. To have teenagers come in there and build solar panels. We have the summer youth program where we pay kids to do things. It's not as large when I was doing it.
Teaching them a skilled trade.
Yeah, but that's in my 8-point plan. I'm going to redo the summer youth program and find more funding so you can keep these youth busy. They talking about gun violence and all that. It's no gun violence. It's just situations mentally in the household, families in the household. So if you don't address that, of course you're going to continue to have the gun violence, but they don't want to address that because they want to lock up.
They don't want to address the root cause of the problem.
They want to lock up. They want to clean up Detroit so they can go ahead and stick with who they need to stick in Detroit. Okay?
Oh boy. Slapz and Trapz. Yes, sir. Radio podcast. See Austin, I see you, baby. With the slap guy. We up in here now. See Austin, the DJ. Yes. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm juan-o. The greatest show on earth. Check it. Word to the slap guy, let's talk. Spend about an hour to compress thought. An honest conversation with C. Austin. Subscribe for the updates. It will be often. With an ear to the street. Kicking that street dung with a clear tongue. Is it clear to my peeps? Good. We can proceed. The guests on this podcast, nothing but some G's. Smash that subscribe button, that's what it's used for. Ring that bell like you just sold a used car. Slapz and Trapz, radio podcast. Don't compare us to the rest. We a contract.
Slapz and Trapz Radio.
Slapz and Trapz Radio. McDonald for mayor.
McDonald for mayor. We on Slapz and Trapz podcast, financial inclusion. Let's get our lick back. Let's get our lick back. It's Mr. McDonald for mayor, Detroit. I got to get to the people. I got to get to the people that does not vote. This is going to be the trick of winning this campaign. It's 600,000 people in the city of Detroit. 50 to 90,000 on average show up in any mayor election. We're not asleep. We're not a city full of dispensaries and liquor stores. We'll wake up and we'll vote on this election and wake up. And I'm gonna give you all the reasons why. Mike Duggan was a write-in candidate, okay? But he didn't go through the city and reach the people. So I'm gonna get to those 10% that does not vote, and then another 30% to wake them up, all right? At least this turnout should be the biggest turnout of the mayor election for the city of Detroit. We're gonna get our lick back. This is Mr. Mcdonald for mayor. And I'm on Slapz and Trapz podcast. Stay tuned for that interview.
You're tuned into Slapz and Trapz Radio. Powered by the Slap God, C. Austin the DJ.
What up, though? 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 Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special episode because we're going to talk politics, man. I got a great dear friend of mine for over 20 years who just so happens to be running for future mayor, man. And I need everybody to come together. When y'all see this video, we got to make this video go viral, make this episode go viral. We have to push this to the masses. It's time for change, y'all, but we need help. We can't be talking change or what we want to do, but not taking the necessary steps needed to make the change. So with that being said, I got one of my homeboys, Mr. Antoine Mcdonald. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you so much. And I'm loving the platform. It's reach to the people. We got to get to the people, not to the people who's watching TV scared to go out in Detroit.
Now, you brought a special guest with you, man. Now, for those who may see his face, you may already know who he is. But for those who don't know, why don't you introduce yourself first and let the world know who you are?
My name is Peter Scheer. I worked with a major international bank in the 80s and 90s during the Coleman administration and Archer administration, lending money to the city. So I'm familiar with difficult days in the past. Now I'm just working in the neighborhoods, doing providing housing for low-income people here in Detroit.
Okay. Now, I want to welcome you guys to my show, man. Antoine, you know I've been doing this for a while, but Peter, let me give you a little information about this podcast. This podcast was created to mainly push to the older crowd, because I felt like the younger generation, you know, with the internet and all these different platforms, it's a little easier for them to get to reach and to reach the people, you know, when they're trying to do the things that they're trying to do. So with this platform, we have all kinds of people from all sorts on here, but it's mainly for 40 and up crowd. I said 35, but really it's 40 and up crowd, you know, just a mature crowd. So I want to welcome you to my show, man. With that being said, fellas, man, talk to me about this campaign, man. I'm going to start with you, Antoine. Let the people know why you decided to run for mayor, man. Why and why now? And speak on that.
Okay. You guys ready? My name is Antoine Mcdonald. I live in the city of Detroit. I was Martha Reed's campaign manager. Google Martha Reed, you see who she is. I ran her campaign. City councilwoman. I was campaign manager of Wyndham as he ran a race to be the mayor of Highland Park. So I was his campaign manager, sat on a campaign, ran that campaign, and got him a seat as mayor of Highland Park. In those days of me running campaigns and seeing how the city works, because politics is just a word, so you don't know the people who dictate your minimum wage, dictate your school education, dictate your roads, dictate what clothes you wear, dictate the food you eat. So they give you a word politician so you can go astray, okay? But these things you need to know as citizen. Right now,
we're making a transition of information, okay? We have a new president in. He's trying to be transparent, releasing things that people was trying to find out for years. So now we're reaching the era now. Are we really going to wake up? Mike Duggan was a write-in candidate. We wrote his name in, and he became mayor of Detroit. Now, I'm from the city, and it takes a lot for us people in Detroit to move and lean towards a person, okay? And so at the end of the day, do I really think he convinced the masses to vote for him or write his name, man? Let me give you some statistics in the city of Detroit. Over a little under 600,000 people in the city of Detroit. Okay? Any other mayor election, anywhere from 60 to 90,000 vote. 50 to 60, 90,000 on average. That's 10%. You can Google that. That's less than 10% of Detroit vote. So with that spread, it's real low. So any politician can maneuver their way in. Any special interest group, from the local millionaires and billionaires is building the skyscrapers, the local companies and the corporations coming in, they can have special interest on those candidates to get in office, to make sure their agendas get done, not for you, for the city of Detroit. I did a campaign yesterday at Rouge, talking to the people, okay? They talking about the porta potties at the park, telling me that the porta potties was on the other side of the park. Now, if a person really loved the city and know about Detroit, Detroiters love to go out when the weather break. If you're a Detroiter, you know that. When the weather break, we go outside, we enjoy the parks. So if you have somebody in for the city, just like when I was at Rouge yesterday and they complain about the porta potties, the mayor currently is not for the people of the city of Detroit with porta potties at a major park filled to the tilt with thousands of people, okay, with a horse ranch on and everything, all right? So clearly, we have people that's not for the city. Now these people that's running, are they going to be for the city? Or do they know it's only 10% show up to vote, and those same special interest groups going to pay for them to get in place so their agendas can get done? All right. We're going to go over different things I got planned for the city. All right. That I'm going to need your help with. That's going to benefit you. It's going to be a financial reckoning.
In the city, okay? Just like Atlanta. Did you know Atlanta mayor gave the city contracts to residents? Meaning if anything needed to get done in the city of Atlanta, those city residents got contracts. Need to be lawn, trash, or whatever the city need to do. That mayor made sure those people got the contracts. I'm not saying it's going to be qualified people to get contracts for city contracts, but we can create programs to help the residents acquire these contracts. Okay, so we
help
can
with
create
the training and stuff like that.
That's right. Help with the training to get some of these city contracts. Okay, because now we got a big gap of financial inclusion. We got a big gap of legacy wealth. We got a big gap of real estate wealth. Okay, I grew up in the city, and they always told me as a kid, you got to get a good job outside the city. You work for minimum wage inside the city. You work for that McDonald's as a kid. When I was 14, 15, worked for McDonald's and on 8 Mile. And then they say go out to Oak Park. Across 8 Mile, you get $2, $3 more. And so I went across Oak Park and got the $2, $3 more as a kid, not knowing that this was a design plan.
It's all about design.
It's all about design. Okay, because you have this city of Detroit right here, this circle of Detroit. And an outer circle is the suburbs. Okay? And in this middle circle, we don't even have a Walmart. Over 600,000 people. Don't even have a Walmart. And so we don't even have all kind of other stores. And so for us, we leave out this circle of Detroit and go to the outer rim of the suburbs.
Let me stop you right there for a minute, Twan. How do you respond to the future critics that say, well, you know, Detroiters tear everything up, so why would we put a Walmart, for example? You were just speaking on Walmart. Or why would we give them these things? You know, we just recently got a... you know, what was that? We just got another Myers right there, the Myers, not too long ago. But, you know, in response to the critics, how would you respond to that?
Well, we don't really, we need the resource. We don't go to the suburb and tear anything up. You know, we take majority of our dollars and we take them to all the surrounding Walmarts around Detroit. Okay? And Myers only did that because they're native to Michigan. Okay? And that's why they put it in Detroit. And Detroit is... We go to every surrounding suburb and spend tremendous amount of money and build these areas up over the last 20 to 30 years by design. We don't tear anything up. We go over there, pay their high tickets. When we drive our vehicles over there, we go over there and pay the taxes because we have to work over there in those Walmarts and those surrounding stores because we're 30% of the poverty level in the city of Detroit. So we have to go to these department stores to find work. And so we don't really tear anything. We had a Kmart, like where Home Depot was once at on 7 Mile. That used to be a Kmart. So during that Kmart debacle, and but Home Depot found its way over there because real estate never goes out of style. Even though the housing market is shifty in Detroit, but rent is up $1,500, $1,400, $1,800, $1,200 a unit. I can't make landlords go down on your rent, but I can create financial inclusion. All right, so we can have money inside the city. I can create awareness where the program's at. I can reform the Motor City Match program, people who've been getting this money to match their businesses. Grand opening, grand closing. You don't even know some of these places that got the money, from beauty salons to donut factories that got this Motor City Match program money. Detroiters don't even know. So I got to create an outlet where they can find these businesses that got the money so they won't be grand closing. All right, that's the thing about a business in the city of Detroit. We need us to support these businesses. I was just looking at Mook from Hip Hop University, and he was talking about 7 Mile and Kathy over there, Strictly, and how that whole
I seen that.
Yeah, how that whole strip was, you know,
it's a legendary strip.
But we're not aware. And we don't. There's no money in the city. Okay, so they didn't create a whole program for us to lead the city.
Shout out Miss Kathy, by the way, too, man.
Yeah,
we love you, man. Strictly's was a landmark, man. I went to Strictly's. I spent a lot of time on 7 Mile as a youngster. You know what I'm saying? So Strictly's that's where we went.
And so,
you know what I'm saying?
And so now they created a system where now we go outside of Detroit and spend all our dollars. Okay, majority of the businesses that we shop at in the city are owned by outsiders. Okay, from Arabics to Korean groups, and all, they're owned by outsiders. All right. So like I said before, I'm gonna create a program, but just like Atlanta, where city people get contracts. All right. Restructure that. Restructure the Motor City Match program. Bring awareness to the program. Highlight it on billboards. Put mentorships at these businesses to show other people how to get the money. Increase funding for us. And now we have to take the hand of each other in Detroit. Okay, just like the Arabic community came in and took each other by the hand and showed each other how to get a bridge card machine, showed each other how to get tobacco license for their businesses. We have to do the same thing. Okay, but I'm gonna go over some more of my topics, but because I gotta bring in
teach one, reach one.
Teach one, reach one. I'm gonna bring in, but you can go to Get Detroit Coins. Get Detroit Coins. I created a website, not just about getting Detroiters get coins, where they can get city resources, land bank, restaurants. You could just keep going in there and find things about the city.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Antoine, speak on that real, because I have been seeing you going extremely hard with the promo with that. I've been seeing that everywhere. Yeah. Just elaborate for the people.
Because we need coins. Okay, if you're living in the city of Detroit, when you step out your door, you're going to give your money to every ethnic group. Okay, those Arabics, those other beauty salons and all those, they're going to take their money back to them. And we're going to constantly wash and repeat that cycle. Unconsciously. Doing it. Zombie-like. Okay? So, no mayor's going to tell you about it because they pay their taxes. They pay the property taxes on time. They buy the business license. Okay? Those ethnic groups. All right? So they're not going to tell you we need Detroiters in those businesses. They're not going to help you.
They're not going to share the game.
They're not going to share the game because they good with those ethnic groups paying on time, paying those taxes for the city. So they don't care about you being a servant and a consumer to those businesses. I do, because I got to lock my door. I don't lock my door for an Arabic kid or a Chinese kid.
Plus, they know we become the competition at that point. And that's
they don't even care. We don't become the competition anymore. They hire us now. I grew up in Detroit where the Arabics didn't even hire us at no businesses. When they did, it was a girl worked at the window at Coney. Now you have blacks take over the whole Arabic business because they're not fair of us.
More diversity, more diversified.
Well, they're not fair of us being no competition. We'll run their whole business. We're not going to open up another one. And they're going to sell us chicken. They're going to sell us everything in the stores. And by the way, we have over 2,000 gas stations in the city of Detroit. And the majority of them, a lot of them selling counterfeit stuff. And this money on the floor where the city of Detroit can write those $500, those fines for those counterfeit food and expired goods. There's money on the floor for those 2,000 gas stations that city of Detroit can pull out. So anything I want to do for funding for the city of Detroit and these resources I want to put in, I can find the funding. Not mess with the $500 million windfall that the city of Detroit have currently now, and the $150 million rainy day fund that the city of Detroit currently have now. Hold on. Wayne County Treasurer is now currently allowing you to pay your taxes in Bitcoin. Okay? Wrap that around your head. Wayne County Treasurer now, you can pay your taxes, property taxes, in crypto and Bitcoin. So that means it's going to take that money, that Bitcoin that you pay your property taxes on, sit on it, and 3x it, 4x it, 4 times the money.
I think that's really amazing.
That's amazing. Right? That's the Wayne County Treasurer. That's not the city of Detroit. Now, Detroit needs to take that same approach.
Right.
With our windfall money. All right. We need to take some of that money and so we can spread some of that money uptown. All right. So those special interest groups that have been putting all that money downtown and pay for the candidates that they need to get in place to make things happen for them.
Spread it around, move it around.
Keep us on this consumer level in the uptown, the city. People, the residents of Detroit are the best consumers. They love it. We spend. So you got to keep us on a good brainwash, all right? And all the ethnic groups work on that. And so you pay for even our people who are elected figures, they get that money and they're not for the people, okay? If they for the people, they won't be. You got city council members on the board in porta potties at the parks. So that means they're not at the parks. I'm out there campaigning at the park. City council members not there trying to make sure they're not at porta potties with thousands of people at our parks. Okay, while you just got funding for a guy to build a restaurant on Belle Isle. Okay, and the state took it over. All right, the city don't run Belle Isle anymore.
Now speaking of funding, man, so what's more your plan as far as the funding? Because how would everybody say, well, we heard this so many times before. What makes your story so different?
Well, I can find. Well, we got to go and look for the money. For the most part, I know where to find money at for the city, far as from blight from businesses, far as from toll roads, making a toll. Because if you travel outside the city of Detroit and go to Chicago and various other places, they have a toll from New York. Okay, that's a fact. All right. I have ways to go around Lansing where I don't have to get the permission to do a toll. I would do a toll on city property, okay? I wouldn't do a road toll because I have to go through the bureaucracy of Lansing. So just to avoid all that, because they're not going to allow me to do no toll road in Lansing. Because who traveled to the city of Detroit, Detroiters? Everybody around Detroit. They come in for the lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. They come in for the restaurants and all that good stuff. So no. Lansing's not going to let me do a toll road on our city streets, but I can put a toll road on our city sidewalks, downtown. Build them out, toll road, okay? Increase the taxes and the business permits on all businesses owners who do not live in the city of Detroit. Oh yeah, increase the taxes. They don't live in the city of Detroit, because if you don't stay in the city of Detroit, you're already paying property taxes 5 and 6 times as much as we do. Southfield taxes is high. Bloomfield Hills is high. Anything around the city of Detroit,
anything outside the city of Detroit is
higher.
Very costly.
They're going to pay higher here. I'm going to find the money. I'm going to mess with that $500 million windfall money the city of Detroit has, or the $150 million rainy day fund. I'm going to put that into crypto and 3x that. Okay, we have the largest city in Michigan. This is the Mitten. This is the Upper Peninsula. Out of all the cities, Detroit is the largest. And why we are the poorest? Why are we looking like Africa? Why are we the largest city in this state?
Care about downtown? That's what I hear.
Why we're it's by design.
So in the past, or even to this present, all the focus for property tax giveaways and incentives has been on the central business district. You'll notice even on the Duggan administration, we actually had more small businesses still open along Gratiot Avenue, Van Dyke, and basically, yes, it looks cleaner, but all those small businesses have closed, and so the billionaires are picking up properties along those strips. There's less and less small business people in there now. In the city of Chicago, they don't just have property tax incentive money just for the central business district. They also had it out in the neighborhoods. That's why you see strong neighborhood streets with businesses along there. They can recycle, they call them tax increment districts in the neighborhoods, and they recycle property taxes back into their properties. So if you own a property on one of these major avenues, all you're sending is your property taxes down to the downtown. You're not recycling anything into your building or into your neighborhoods to repair those buildings and make them attractive for free retail or that. So you have very, very few small businessmen surviving along the big avenues. You go along Detroit, you'll see Van Dyke's deserted. Gratiot looks cleaner, but there's less small businesses.
That's like you said. I just was on Gratiot. What was that last week? You were 100% right.
But the billionaires and millionaires are snapping up the properties.
Yeah,
they own it. So you can look up a lot of those buildings. They sit on them. And but not just that. I want to talk about Peter. Peter has not unlocked.
Either they turn everything to luxury homes.
Well, not just yet. They haven't even came up Gratiot. They're sitting on them for 5 or 10, 15 years.
Well, let's speak about the.
Hold on, Peter. Before you go into, I want to give you a little story about Peter.
Yeah,
He's a retired banker, right? So he approved the loan for the Greek town Athenaeum Hotel at the time when they had the
beautiful down there.
When they had the record for the longest, tallest indoor waterfall. Okay, so he approved that loan when he worked for the bank at the time. So and during that time when he approved that loan for the Athenaeum Hotel, and Detroit was on a downcline at the time, and the Greeks got financed. It was getting financed. And at the time, he worked for a Chinese bank. No other banks was financing Detroit. Nobody couldn't get financing. Okay, so Detroit was going for Chinese banks, and this was in what? Japanese banks. And this was what year was this in?
It's the 80s and 90s.
This is the 80s and 90s, so they couldn't get financing. So this implosion that you see that went on in the 80s and 90s was by design. You bring the property value down, we come in and scoop everything up. The word they call it gentrification. They was giving you that in different cities, okay, whatever that means, but it's opportunist.
Local banks would not lend to Coleman Young at that time, not at all. So I was happy to come into town at that time and be able to lend the Coleman administration money. And people, the feds came to the bank where I was headquartered in Chicago, came to the bank and asked what you're doing in Detroit. So it attracted attention. So they didn't like that.
No funding.
The powers that be. So, but those are different days. So now we should turn over a new page in Detroit and stop the subsidies to the billionaires. I mean, I'm sure Detroiters are grateful to the Illiches and Gilberts what they've done, but it's time to stop. In the case of Little Caesars Arena, that's a 2-team arena in Chicago. They had Bulls Blackhawks. There was no $100 million of city subsidy there, and only except for maybe some roads and sewer, but the main buildings were paid for by the private sector, and that stadium is very, very successful, generating tremendous amount of money. They paid off their loans early. Now we have heavy subsidies that went into Little Caesars, and you have 2 teams, so they got the benefit of both on that one. Mm-hmm. And then now you have the latest one is the Gilbert Tower, so you have subsidies on that one. And then all that did was shift the tenant. What is it? GM has moved out of Rensen over to
Renaissance.
So that's just a shuffling of money. No really net benefit to the city because now the developers want subsidy to rebuild the Rensen. So again, that really doesn't do much for the actual residents that live in the neighborhoods of Detroit. And so that's what Mr. McDonald is campaigning for, is for the neighborhoods. So we got to get more sophisticated and financial incentives out into the neighborhoods, and we need to turn a new leaf on the subsidies.
Yeah, I can't really. At the end of the day, I'm from Detroit, and the slogan here is "Big Bank, Take a Little Bank." Okay, so those subsidies is by billionaires and millionaires. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Big bank, take little bank. Those subsidies gonna still go on. So I gotta fight to find money for us. Okay, for programs for financial inclusion, programs for take the Motor City Match and turn it into a primary thing for Motor City legacy people. To turn that into apprenticeship programs at these businesses. All the money that you seen go into a black business for the Motor City Match program, those people are going to help everybody else make more money and find businesses in the program. Land Bank is doing a big 30,000 block party to sell property, and that's on, I think that's the 14th or the 16th, okay? And they're gonna dump 30,000 lots, all right? And one day, party, music, fun, all right? It's gonna be from 11 that morning to 2. I'm gonna get the actual date and time. Go to my Instagram. The link will be at the bottom. And that's coming up. That's like coming up next week. They're gonna dump all these lots, okay? They're gonna liquidate all this stuff before Detroiters realize what's going on. Before they even had neighbor lot program where you can get it from $100. Before Detroiters found out about it, it went up to $250. Now it's $500. Now that should have been
They make it difficult.
They make it difficult, but that should have been on the billboard throughout the city of Detroit. Just how they put billboards and telling you don't flush grease down the drain. They tell you the city things about ordinance and parking downtown and whatnot.
Antoine, I hate to interrupt you, but let me stop you right there because you're doing great, man. That just brings me to my next question. Speaking of that, how do we get this message out to the people? I mean, of course, we could add, we could go on campaigns, yada, 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 but how do we get this message to our people so they understand how serious this is? The severity of this is serious. Now, you speak of those lots. Now, G tried to get one of those lots. It's funny you should speak on that. When I tell you they made it so difficult for him, and they still ended up selling a lot. So the person behind him wasn't on the block nowhere long as he had. He had his taxes up to date, everything. He went and paid his because they said you had to add the taxes up to date. He made sure he followed all proper protocol. You know what I'm saying? Got online early before didn't nobody even know about the bidding or nothing, and they still played them. So my question to you guys is, how do we get this message out to the people so we can prevent this type of foolishness in the future, or can we prevent it?
They gotta sleep. Their job is to keep Detroiters asleep. If you have only 10% show up to vote, they can do anything. They can go build a house for $600,000 right across from your grandma's house that's been there forever. And you trying to figure out like how they do that, okay? Because you sleep. They're gonna make sure you sleep. They're gonna make sure dispensaries on every corner. They're gonna make sure liquor stores on every corner. They're gonna make sure you got a job.
Try to make you comfortable in your environment.
They're gonna make sure the billionaires come in and provide a job for you to be a servant, for you to be a consumer. I go downtown throughout the week with my kids. I go downtown throughout the week with my significant other, and I see the other ethnic groups enjoying downtown while the Detroiters are servants. They are servants. They don't get a chance to enjoy their downtown. They are servants.
Not to mention the struggle is still very real.
So how we gonna get the messages is leveraging this platform, social media. They're gonna pump fear into you. I was just on Todd Perkins' page, he's running for mayor with me. He's on the ballot. He can't speak in the mayor debates with the other campaigns. Why? Because the special interest groups, those millionaires and billionaires, bought those other candidates. They bought them. They bought and sold. Okay? So Perkins, he's a lawyer. You can't really buy him. He's for the people. He's a criminal lawyer. Okay? He represented me. Okay? So as far as a criminal lawyer and seeing the criminal things in Detroit, and you realize it's not criminal, it's poverty. It's the crack kids from the 80s. They grown now. It's mental. It's finance. It's lack of father in the home. It's family broke up.
Right now, you got 4 in 10 children that have an incarcerated parent in Detroit.
Yeah.
So
say that again. Say that again. 4 in 10.
Stat came out just this week. 4 in 10 children in Detroit have an incarcerated parent. So that's a large percentage, and so they're not getting proper, family interaction, family unit, family guidance, mentorship, and so that's out
proper
there.
Resources
out there, and people think that the new generation, well, some of these things have already been resolved, but no, they're not resolved, and they're still there, and now we're in the building authority has torn down so much valuable housing. Okay, some windows were missing or such like that. Now we're ending up with an availability and affordable housing crisis, which I've been working in, and now that's going to change the entire character of Detroit, and they're going to force low-income people, middle-class and low-income people out of Detroit, and the prices are going higher and higher and higher, and now the landlords want they're just following the property taxes and such like that. So one of the ideas, if you vote for Mcdonald for mayor, is that he wants to try to do something with residential property taxes. Wayne State has already studied that. The owner-occupied residential property taxes should be reduced, dramatically down to zero, and it's possible.
And DTE, man, that DTE is out of control,
DTE,
man.
yes.
Well, at the end of the day, I can raise the taxes at a city level to make them pay the lean pressure on you guys. But you guys are gonna have the city of Detroit gonna have to pick up their picket signs. They're gonna pick up there and go down to DTE and boycott the headquarters. Other than that, I can create. I was thinking about, I'm trying to get off the grid at one of my properties and create solar panels.
Right.
Okay. These recreational centers I have, where these recs and all these different facilities that we have. I went to Randolph Vocational Center, where I learned carpentry, masonry, and electrical. So I'm a crafty. That's how I got into real estate. And so those facilities has not been promoted. We need hands-on skills and facilities. One of the rec centers that Coleman A. Young they just remodeled.
It was like 11 million.
Yeah,
something
but
like
you should have stuck $2 million in there just for solar panels. To have teenagers come in there and build solar panels. We have the summer youth program where we pay kids to do things. It's not as large when I was doing it.
Teaching them a skilled trade.
Yeah, but that's in my 8-point plan. I'm going to redo the summer youth program and find more funding so you can keep these youth busy. They talking about gun violence and all that. It's no gun violence. It's just situations mentally in the household, families in the household. So if you don't address that, of course you're going to continue to have the gun violence, but they don't want to address that because they want to lock up.
They don't want to address the root cause of the problem.
They want to lock up. They want to clean up Detroit so they can go ahead and stick with who they need to stick in Detroit. Okay? They already cleaned up downtown, pushed out the Section 8 buildings, pushed out the low-income houses and the skyscraper. And big bank take little bank. And so now you got the most toxic zip code in the nation is over in Southwest Detroit. No candidate is talking about that. Marathon's trying to buy all the properties over there. I got a cousin over there getting this property bought from the gas company, Marathon.
I got an uncle over there too.
Yeah, and so reason they buying the properties because there's no class action lawsuit, because those same gas companies finance the city council and the mayor. And so you can't get a class action lawsuit because they bought and paid for it. So now those gas companies over there buying the properties over there. But it's been toxic ever since I've been a kid. And everybody's over there is deceased. Okay, they unalive those people over there in Southwest, over in that zip code, all right, from cancers. But nobody's talking about that toxic zip code. So, because they bought and paid for. Those candidates are bought and paid for. So if I can wake up the city of Detroit, we're not full of dispensaries, we're not full of liquor stores, we're going to wake up. Mike Duggan came in, your currently mayor came in as a write-in candidate.
And I'm glad you just said that.
I want you to feel that luster and thirst for me. They like, McDonald, won't you just get on the ballot? No.
Now, I want you to break that down, Antoine. Now, speaking of this, the second time I heard you say, no, I already was going to ask you, man. Now, why a write-in candidate? First of all, break that down for people who don't know the difference. And why would you decide to run for a write-in candidate versus having the people vote you in like some of our previous mayors?
Because, like I said before, I was campaign manager for Martha Reed's and Wyndham and got him in as mayor. Neither one of those was a write-in candidate. When I seen Mike Duggan get in as a write-in candidate, and I'm from the city of Detroit, and when we got Coleman A. Young, the first black mayor in the city of Detroit of a black majority vote, usually majority of whatever the color is, usually they vote in as mayor. It's just how I usually go, whatever the majority of the ethnic group is. Hamtramck majority over there is Chaldeans and Arabics over there. They have their first Chaldean Arabic mayor over there because it's the majority voting group. And so the city needs a savior. But since they got us asleep, we're not looking for a savior. They want us looking for money. They want us chasing dollars. While other ethnic groups come in as a family unit and build their financial legacy up. Mike Duggan came in as a write-in candidate. If he came in as a write-in candidate and he inspired us as a people to write his name in, I grappled with that for years during his mayorship and asked thousands of people over years, did they write his name in? And I found not one person that wrote his name in as Mike Duggan for mayor. Now you ask the person to the left or right of you, when he ran for mayor, did you find anybody that wrote his name in? But I worked for people that worked for his campaign. I found people that worked for his campaign. He hired radio personalities. He hired the movers and shakers in the city and got up to $4 million in donations from the special interest groups, the lobbyists, the corporations that needed him to do what they need for him to do.
They did his dirty work for him, basically.
We need to come in and need us to have the agenda for downtown, restructure that, consolidate uptown, bring the property value down more, cut the red tape through city council. They clean out city council. They want a city council more lean towards what they need them to do, a mayor lean towards what they need them to do. Mike Duggan got thrown off the ballot. Mike Duggan knew he couldn't win over no city full of people and make us go write his name in. He was trying to get on the ballot. But he having residential problems because you have to live in a city where you run. And so it was some sketchy with that, and they threw him off the ballot. Yeah. And so he came in as a write-in candidate. So I met people that worked for his campaign and say he went to, come on now, if only 10% show up to vote, Mike Duggan know he only need 15 to 30,000 to be a mayor of a city at the time he ran was probably 700,000 people. Okay.
How you feel about him crossing over into politics now?
Well, hold on, let me finish. So Mike Duggan supposedly got everybody to write in. You don't have to get that many people because they make sure they keep us asleep. Okay, they keep us on a nice sleep diet and leave outside the city and put us on a 40-hour, 80-hour, and we just live for the weekend and make sure we got our liquor and make sure we got anything else to keep us nice on this sleep diet. Okay,
we ain't
good
even
food.
doing that because we working on the weekend.
We working on the weekends to keep us nice with food. Okay, how you have a city in Detroit with all these kids and no Chuck E. Cheese, no Funland, nothing for the kids. And the women ain't even protesting for it, okay? Because they worried about vanity, beauty supply on every beauty supply place, and something with vanity on every corner, and something with food. So
Speaking
now
of the women, man, talk to the women, man.
So we don't replace so the queens are so lonely in our city where they got to eat and fill their vanity void, and that's what you have in this city, full of restaurants and full of things for vanity. Nothing for the kids, okay? We have some parks. Yeah, okay, a park. We have a rec, okay. But we have to leave outside the city for the zap zones, the jumper, the go-kart races. We have to leave Detroit. The biggest city in Michigan, we always have to leave Detroit to do something with our kids, right?
That's a fact.
Okay, and
I do it every weekend with mine.
Yep, so and the people who watch us in Atlanta, California, they don't know we going through this. So this is by design. So we leave out Detroit, we gonna build that tax base up, all right? And then we make sure we don't get any funding here, all right? When I worked for Wyndham and got him in as mayor of Highland Park, and they was trying to implode Highland Park and dissolve that into Detroit, okay? Meaning that the state said if Highland Park don't get their act together, we're gonna dissolve the whole city and make it Detroit. They shut down the high school. They shut down. They had no funding for the police. They had no funding for the fire department. Nobody give loans, right? Nobody's giving loans, all right? All right, because they all work together, all right? Everybody works together. They all work together for 30 and 20 and 40 years.
It's often been said Detroiters are difficult. You know what I'm saying? So nobody want to invest in Detroit. They tear everything up. You know, they stealing. A lot of them look at what happened with Kwame, and you know they judge us. A lot of biasness that goes on. You know what I'm saying? How would you respond to that? Just
They don't
moving
have any
forward.
problem with putting Sam's Club right across the border in Warren.
Right.
Those are all Detroiters that are going to go there to spend their money
On 8 Mile.
And
All
on 8
on
Mile,
board.
yeah,
But the
right.
east side, you just going across 8 Mile.
So there's no reason they can't bring those big box retailers down. They have security over there, and we can have security here. The small high end retailers are down along Woodward Avenue.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
middle class people can't shop there. So no, there's a lot of Detroit myths that are really, really old that have nothing to do with the current generation and such like that. And so it's time to, get to that new page.
Yeah, get to that new page and talk about the issues we don't even know. So they, open up our eyes. If I can open up the eyes of the Detroiters, like you asked me before, why would I go in as a write-in candidate? Because if I can inspire the Detroiters to write my name in, like Mike Duggan inspired Detroiters, supposedly. A lot of senior citizen homes wrote his name in, supposedly. And people had to help the senior citizens, but we're not saying that. But if I can inspire Detroiters for real change, for them, for their kids, inform them how politics work, because it's not politics. This your paycheck. This your 40 hours. This your kid's school. All right. These are your mom. These your grandparents. Okay. I even got it where any property owner that owns a property that's a senior citizen, their grass and their snow get removed free. Okay. That alone alleviates a lot of stuff for a senior citizen living in their house. Because a lot of older people in the city of Detroit will not leave their property. Mm-hmm. They will not leave their property. I seen it. I witnessed it. I know people like me, they don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah,
I have
my
to.
neighbor was one of them across the street. She ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere. And so I will have that on there where their snow and their grass get cut. All right. And the money from that, we already service grass and all this abandoned lot. So they'll just be on the road. And then the summer youth program that when we fund the kids and get them to work, we'll funnel that in. We'll up that with more funding where those kids can go and service those grass. Okay. And then create a snow removal. We already do snow removal as a city. We'll just up the funding for that and create more jobs for the snow removal during the winter. So the kids will be working during the grass, because we got to have a system for them to get paid. And we got the summer youth program. We have the system to keep the youth busy, not just for creating businesses and mentorship. Because if you look at my 8-point plan, I'm turning it all. I remember in Detroit where Detroit police officers had to live here to police us. Mm-hmm. You can't live across 8 Mile and police us
was a
and
thing,
lock up my
ladies
dad.
and
Then go back to 8
information
Mile.
there. Look it up on the thing they call Google.
Yep.
Educate yourself.
Yep. So at one time, I remember when I had my first property and I got on the block, and they like, the police officers stay next to you. That's all the neighbors told me. So that neighborhood stayed quiet and peaceful, because they always said, it's a cop, stay next to you.
The cop 4 houses down.
Come to find out, the cop didn't stay there. He owned the property because he had to have a property and live in Detroit to become a police officer. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's create the property's not being abandoned. That's less the property's being abandoned.
Even but you not in the city of Detroit.
That's still cool, but we still have them. They found out ways to go around things. Americans do that, let alone Detroiters. We found out ways to go around it. Even though that cop had the property, the neighborhood still had the saying that he would live next door. It was safe. It was protected in that particular block. Now, when companies got in and put their mayors that they want in and their city councils that they want in, because we want 8 Mile, across 8 Mile, the surrounding suburbs, we want those cops to come in and clean up Detroit and go right back out to the suburbs.
There was
not creating tax base here, not creating properties here, not creating safe zones while they live in all these areas. And when they did that, there you go. Statistics are higher, more people are in jail. There you go. Those are the numbers. It's increasing here.
Go ahead, Peter.
The area, the state fair, you go from Gratiot to Kelly, and I was informed that was all full of police living there, and now it's there's lots of empty lots in there now. Because when they left, it
Blight, turned to blight.
Took down the neighborhood.
Took down the neighborhood. Because the same thing, when I left, when the police left, it took down the neighborhood. So, and they know this. So they gonna come back and scoop up the land for the low, stick a $600,000 house there 10 years from now. Yeah, that's how that's going. But no, I would implement that back again. I don't need Lansing permission to go and say anybody who works for the city of Detroit, police officer, has to own a property. They will have 1 year to move to the city of Detroit. Back in those neighborhoods, making them protected, okay? So you will see that officers stay down the street again, like I used to, all right? Because now the city council and the mayors that's in there now, they're not for you. They don't want those police officers down the street.
I'm glad you said that, Antoine, because it seems like we don't see these people no more. I remember that growing up as a youngster as well. It's like you've seen these people. You don't see these people in the neighborhoods no more. Even like your local inspiration, you don't see that no more. Now, obviously, it all goes back to one thing. We've already discussed it several times today. That's funding. You know what I'm saying? You can't do nothing without funding. This funding, that funding. Go ahead. I just want to know, how do we get this funding? Because, you said nobody's giving loans. We got lucky. Luckily, you came through and showed love and looked out, but everybody's not so kind-hearted as you. So how do we resolve that problem?
But when he worked for the bank and was giving loans, the feds came here and told him, no more loans for the city of Detroit because we're imploding that. We're going to make sure that go down. It's by design. It's not hard to find funding. It's not really hard. If you travel outside the city of Detroit, they create ways for funding. Your tickets are higher when you leave the city of Detroit. Your driving tickets. Any tickets that you get in the city of Detroit, when you cross 8 Mile, your driving tickets are even increased.
It just seems like they make everything extremely difficult for Detroiters. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to funding versus like you said earlier, maybe a Southfield or a Warren or a Oak Park or a Romulus or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then you look at like the in-between cities, like an Inkster, which is damn near as bad as Detroit.
Let me tell you something how this funding works. Downtown got all the money, right? You go up Woodward, the funding stopped right at Highland Park, right? As soon as you get to Highland Park, desolate, poverty, no funding, no funding, and you right up down, even the train stopped there. The rail, they make the rail stop there. Okay, they make all the funding stop there, while New Yorkers coming in and buying all the properties up in Highland Park, all the buildings and all the abandoned. Okay, they know the opportunity. Okay, they know some millionaires gonna come in and buy it all up. Now where's the funding gonna come from? 2,000 gas stations. Where's the funding gonna come from? All non-residents who have business in the city of Detroit. Everybody who's raping and pillaging and leaving and going out of the city of Detroit, they gonna pay.
It's almost like a tariff, and like a Trump language.
That's right. And we're gonna get our lick back. It's like a tariff. That's right. It's like America don't make anything. Everything in your house, China makes it, Mexico makes it. You flip anything over, it's not made
in China. That's
made in here. So our country's not gonna survive. We know that. Just like Detroit. If we don't have no businesses, I had to go to McDonald's to get better wages when I was a kid. Everybody I know had to leave out Detroit to get better wages. Bring in outside morning.
No idea.
And grown and adults are doing it now. And so now that money leaves out the city, and so the city implodes. The mom has to drive out. Now she need a babysitter. She's already a single parent. So now the kid's doing all kind of things in school.
Now that's one I've heard several people say, because me being in this podcast game, man, I ask the people how they feel about these type of things from time to time. And one of the things that I hear the most amongst the people of Detroit is how we are so rude to each other. We want everybody to vote for us, come to our business, spend their dollars. I remember you was pushing black dollars and still pushing it versus black business. But I've even experienced this myself several times. We are so rude. It's almost like a sense of entitlement in a way where we feel like you got to spend with us. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we don't have the best customer service. We don't have the best attitudes. You pull up, everybody on their phones, almost acting like if I'm pulling up to spend my money with you, you acting like you got, and not you literally, but you acting like you got an attitude with me because I'm coming to spend my money with you. I've seen this all over the city of Detroit. How do you respond to that?
Pride. We got to create a system of self-pride. We gotta have the kids and everybody walking around here where we got so much pride for our city. Where if you litter on the ground, I'm gonna tell you to pick it up. How can I do that? It gotta start from high school, and it gotta start from elementary, and it gotta start from junior high. If you look at my 8-point plan, I got a Pride Legacy program where elementary, high school, we work in tandem with the board. See now, City of Detroit and Detroit School Board, they like separation. If you can separate the city from the kids, I can make the kids stupid. I can make everything implode. No, they took out driver education out of high school. They took out band. They took out cursive in the City of Detroit. So now it worked. Okay, so we separate city from the school board. No, bring that back together. Make these legacy companies, the Illages, Little Caesars Arena, our major buildings, Detroit Museum, Aretha Franklin, everything that we have that make you feel good about the city, have tours with the elementary, with the junior highs, with the high schools. You're going to have a tour that goes through the Illich family legacy. From the Little Caesars Arena, how it started, from one pizzeria, from Ford Field, how it started with one car. You're going to have tours working with the school board to create a self-pride where these kids have to go to these places and walk in these facilities and know about these legacies, these facilities that we have in the city of Detroit, not just do a tour to the museum. No, that Aretha Franklin, Shane Park, this is the city of Detroit. This makes money for the city of Detroit. This fund different people and take care of families. These are the families that work at Aretha Franklin. Show this to the kids. You have to create a whole program of self-pride with our kids. Just like those kids have self-pride in Dearborn. Just like those kids have self-pride in Bloomfield Hills. Those kids have self-pride. Okay? So it has to start with the kids. They're out here marching out for gun violence. What you marching for gun violence for? The Arabics not shooting each other. The Chinese not shooting each other. So who's shooting each other? You gotta figure out why it's gun violence. Because it's a broke up family. It's poverty. Okay? So now we gotta find the money. We gotta find ways to keep the kids busy. We gotta find ways to keep them how we have self-pride things in the city.
Now you guys mentioned earlier, what'd you say, 4 to 10% rate?
Yeah, we have severe problems in the city, and one of them I've experienced, not just helping people, was the Friends of the Court. They're really keeping fathers away from their children.
Oh yeah.
There's a huge problem with child support demands on low-income people, incarceration of low-income people for child support, basically criminalizing sex for low-income people. Mm-hmm. Of course, they want to just say it's only black people, but no, it's white people too. And I don't think there's any country in the world that has criminalizes sex for low-income people. But I mean, let's say you caught a felony, a small, for doing drugs when you were young or doing something, and so you're trying to get out from underneath that, right? So maybe a spongement or something, but then you got you're behind in you get behind in child support, and then they hit you with another felony, so you can't dig yourself out of the hole. Okay, that's the system is really.
I went through it personally. I can definitely relate. They took my driver's license, everything.
Right.
And that's like, now that affected me getting to work to make money for my family. So. Right.
They'll arrest you, pull you. You didn't. Somebody had a child support case, even out of county or out of state. Even they arrested him. Then he lost his job. Well, how can he pay money when he just lost a job because you pulled him, without notice, just arresting him? It's just, and then and then you go with the low-income people generally are frightened of authority and the courts, and so some people try to get back into the workforce, and 80-90% of their check is garnished. So how can they even be able to support themselves in a house and anything like that when right away they got these big garnishments. And so then we really do need some reform at the state level of the child support system to make it more like reasonable, all right? To get people to go back in the system, to go back to work. Right now, you have more pride in people staying out on the streets and not going W-2 to support their families, to stay away from the authorities. And I think it's one of the reasons that drug dealing is still out there. I mean, you could make as much money driving a truck as you would drug dealing, but like they want your money off your check, so you have no pride with your family or anything.
That's amazing you just said that, Peter. I just literally had a gentleman tell me that the other day in the streets. He said, man, I just refuse to get a job. And I said, why, man? He said, because, man, they just taking too much money. He said, you spend all your time working just for them to take all your money. He said it's almost like you getting pimped in a way. You know what I'm saying? And I felt him because that's how I feel now working. I work. Oh, I'm surprised I ain't at work now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I definitely can relate. But my question to you guys, man, I guess what I'm trying to ask is what steps do we take to, eventually put a stop to these type of things? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we position ourselves?
Well, we need new leadership. You need to write in McDonald for mayor.
We got to show. We got to wake up.
We
got to wake up. We can't show them that we just full of restaurants and liquor stores and dispensaries. Okay, we got to wake up. It's not over. The fight is not over. I'm gonna be at you. I'm going to the people, to the parks, to the camp, to where my Detroiters be at, because those people who running and trying to be your next mayor, they're not going to come to you because they already got the special interest groups paid them already. Those special interest groups already done paid for their campaign. They're not going to make sure. They're not going to tell you they're building a new juvenile facility for your kids. Okay, they're not building a new juvenile facility for the surrounding suburb areas. No, they're building a new juvenile facility for the Detroiters because they're looking at this new statistics of these parents locked up, so they know they're gonna have a lot of
looking at it like ching ching. Now, speaking of that, and not to cut you off once again, Twine, man, but talk to the juveniles for a minute. Talk to the youngsters for a minute, man, so they can just see your face and resonate with you. Those who don't see you already, you're such a busy guy, moving around, man. So talk to the young crowd for a minute, because we do, even though this is a platform based for OGs, we do have young life that tap in with us from time to time. So if you could just get one message through to these youngsters, what would that be?
18 and up. And the youngsters, get them to vote for McDonald, for you, for financial inclusion, to bring the family, bring some money back into your household, bring awareness and some respect back to you and your mom and your dad, bring some respect back to the city, and let's get our lick back of all the money they taken out of this city, okay? Let's get our lick back and get some of this money back to us, okay? When you travel around the surrounding areas, other than Detroit, you spending your money out there by design, okay? Your mom got to take you to all this fun things, and you find little small things in the city that you can do, but you got to go to the nice, fun things outside the city. We need our lick back. We need to have those fun things back here, okay? Vote for McDonald so you can enjoy your city. Okay, we can enjoy our city. I'm going to make the parks free for all Detroiters. You don't have to pay to get in no parks, get a parking pass. You don't have to pay to get a parking pass back on Bella. I'm not going to have to deal with the Lansing bureaucracy. I'm not going to try to get this approved through Lansing. I'm just going to cover that with that windfall money from the city of Detroit. That's automatically going to get paid from the city residents. Their park pass going to automatically get paid through the state. So I'm not have to, things that I'm going to implement, I'm not going to just tell you that I'm going to do it and then Lansing like, no, you can't do that. Because that's a lot of things. A lot of politicians going to say, I can do this and not do this.
Because I actually was just about to ask you, obviously some of the competition may see this, they may not see it. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna see it.
So with that being said, man, how would you respond to the criticism with that? Some people say, oh, you too crazy. You think you about to go against Mike Duggan, for example, or what's the other one, Mary, whatever.
Sheffield.
And that's no disrespect to them. I'm just saying, how do you respond to the critics in that aspect who think what you're saying is not real, and they don't think, for example, that you may be able to reach these neighborhoods that you are from and been a part of your whole life, by the way, which to me personally, I think if anybody could reach them, you could be able to reach them, being that they seen you out here, being what's going on the streets, because you are in these streets daily. Speak on it.
You like Beyonce and Jay-Z. You like to see a black couple, a black family. Okay, you like to see that. We like to see those things. We like to see a king and a queen and royalty. Okay, these are things we like to see. We had the Manugian Mansion with a black family in there. We had a mayor in there with a family in there. When you see a family running your city, you feel proud. I don't care what color it is. Okay. If you can break up a black family, or you can break up any family from running a city, where the mayor and the wife is walking up the street and you're getting invited over to the mayor and the wife house and the kids are doing stuff, you feel pride. Okay? They don't want that. They don't want you to see a family and have pride. They want to make sure your candidates, your mayors that you see in this beautiful black city, this beautiful multi-rich, diverse color city from all ethnic groups, they want to make sure the majority of the people here do not see a family-oriented mayor, so you can feel proud. Shut down the Manugian Mansion, where you used to go see a family and the mayor there. Take that out your diaspora. Okay? If you can break up a family, you can conquer them. And why you want to conquer them? So you can sell them Jordans. You can sell them Coney Island. You can sell them all your goods. That's how you conquer them.
Now, Antoine, you speak of the Manugian Mansion. Now, once again, obvious, we got the critics. The first thing everybody is going to want to say is what? Kwame, right? Or what went wrong with the Kwame Kilpatrick situation. So why should anybody be impressed or,
About having a family back at the mansion?
Yes,
Kwame situation?
Yes, why? Well, after you say, he did this, he stole money, yada, 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 even though it's been going on since the beginning of time, but the fact that it got highlighted because it was a black person in office who did it at the time. What's your response to that?
Well, it's not what he did. If you go against the grain, they got dirt on you. Anybody gonna have dirt on you. Politics is about slinging mud. I don't care if it's at a presidential level or the mayor level. They're gonna sling mud. They're gonna have dirt on you. So Kwame, somebody gonna create dirt. Okay, when I was running Martha Reed's campaign, somebody literally put a mole in her campaign to sabotage her campaign. To sabotage her office at city council, at a state level. A white lady. She was highly qualified to work for Martha Reed's, but she was a mole. She got put in to mess up her books and lot. So these are things that people do. To get their agenda across the board. People gonna do things, put dirt on you.
Play dirty. It's a dirty game.
Put cases on you. So things that Kwame did as far as the dirt, that's cool. But do you know Kwame was making Detroit all free Wi-Fi? He had billboards all over the city, said Detroit is going to be free internet. And he started with downtown first. I lived downtown at the time of his administration.
I remember.
We had free internet. And he had billboards to tell you uptown is going to have internet too. Why Kwame had to put billboards out? Because 2, 4, and 7 was not his friend. They were slandering him. They said he bought a car for his wife with the city dollars, even though it was given from a dealership. So they slander you. 2, 4, and 7 are paid for the surrounding 8 Mile, the surrounding suburbs, because they need things done in the city. They always work with 247 News to slander anybody who's for the people.
You know what's funny though about all of this is the fact that Kwame was outside with the people, man. He really was amongst the people. You can say what you want, have your opinion about him, that's fair. But what you can't say is that he wasn't outside and amongst the people. You've never seen a mayor backed by their city the way Detroit had Kwame Kilpatrick's back. Tell me I'm lying. I was here. I was amongst the people. I saw it firsthand. You cannot tell me. I saw it.
And it was dangerous.
It was dangerous.
We had to put you back to sleep.
We put you ever. I bet you he could go anywhere around the city and you're not going to lay a finger on him.
But now we had to put you back to sleep though, Detroiters. You was woke. So now we got to put you back to sleep. They slandered Kwame's name so bad we voted him right back in. Since we voted him right back in, let's just put a case on him and lock him up for 30 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to put you Detroiters back to sleep so we can have this low turnout and we can have our people in with our special interest groups and we can get the things we need done. Okay? Only reason they tearing down the Renaissance is so they can build up a nice amphitheater on the waterfront. Mm-hmm. Because they don't control Hart Plaza. The city do. They don't control Shane Park, Aretha Franklin. The city do. So the special interest groups want their own amphitheater, tear down Renaissance, spend $1 billion on the water. No $1 billion uptown. And they got a nerve to get a tax incentives and they want the state to tear it down. The state said no because GM laid off workers. So
and when you didn't lay off, they sent overseas.
Right. So at the end of the day, we have to wake up. You know, show up, write my name in. The reason I'm doing this is to write in because I want them to show that Detroiters is waking up. Okay? Detroiters are waking up. They put Trump in, and then he got slandered so bad, 20 cases on him, and then he made it as president. So you cannot always believe what you see on the media. The people do have a voice. Those people put that man in and had a voice. I want to show that my people in the city of Detroit is not full of food, full of dispensaries, full of liquor. I know they love their kids. I know they tired of their kids going to juvie, tired of being incarcerated, tired of spending your money with everybody else, not knowing how the city works, no financial inclusion, not knowing if your job security is for real, not knowing if your rent gonna go up some more.
And our older people, man, messing with their pensions and all that, you know what I'm saying? That's not right, man.
What the pensions is solved between at a state level, at the city. The city only handled the city employees' retirements and pension anyway, and we got a windfall of money for them. And they're going to put it in crypto eventually in 3-4x. Everything's going to move over to stablecoins and crypto with pensions and 401ks. This Michigan right now is trying to vote to make a strategic crypto reserve at a state level. Texas just approved it. Arizona just approved it. And the government trying to make a crypto Bitcoin strategic reserve, meaning we're going to put up crypto. And everybody, it's going to be a race to get these digital assets. And so I have the Spirit of Detroit coin, all right, just to transition people over to crypto. To let them know these Bitcoin machines, these ATMs you've been seeing, Bitcoin's at 110,000. Nobody's telling us when it's at 5,000. I seen an interview on a talk show years ago. Bitcoin was at roughly like maybe 20,000. And the guy said if it was during the Black Lives Matter movement, he said if Black Lives Matter, all the Black lives in America will buy Bitcoin, wait till it hit $1 million, buy all the land back from the white people. If your life matters. When he said that, it dawned on me. Well, maybe I can tell people about crypto and then they realize, get financial inclusion about your life and it didn't matter. Work together. If not, go prove to somebody that your life matter. Because I really didn't care about the Black Lives Matter movement. Me at my point, myself at the time, because I created Black Dollars versus Business at the same time they created that movement.
I remember that.
Yeah, Black Dollars versus Black businesses. Just take all your money and go spend it to a Black business. If you think your life matter, take your money and find a Black business. With their attitudes, with their low stock, with their shifty business hours, just go take it there. If your life matters. So I started that movement.
Now, let me stop you right there for a minute, Twan. Now, speaking of all of that and just politics in general. What I didn't ask you at the beginning of this interview, and then I got a couple questions for you as well, Peter. Now, what made you just want to get into this politics in general, man? Was it just making a change? You know better, you do better. You want to be the voice that nobody really has as far as us, you know what I'm saying? And secondly, how did you meet all these different plugs and different council members? And what has that experience been like? I've been seeing you moving around, pushing your campaign and everything. Talk to the people about that experience, just what it's been like just on the road and, talking to
There's people, talking to different families, talking to the children. You know what I'm saying? Going here, going there, going on these podcasts, man. Talk to them. They're receiving me. I'm spreading the gospel. They're receiving that information. I'm telling them about
things in the city they have no clue about. You can do early voting here. You can write my name in early. Okay, we have early voting on the boulevard and at the Spirit of Statue at Coleman and Young City Hall. You can do early voting. They only tell you to early vote during the presidency, but we're an early voting state. I have convinced people to vote. I have convinced people to register to vote. I have convinced people to stand for something in the city. I have convinced people, if you tired of things that's going on uptown and you only making money from downtown and you don't even have enough money to even enjoy your downtown. I done had people say that. I done had people say, I work downtown, but I don't make enough money to come down here and enjoy it.
Right.
So just take that, you got 2, 4, and 7. You have this media, fake media, going to project another narrative of city people. But the majority, 30%, you have 30% of the city residents is below poverty. If I can get that 30% to go and vote, it's only 10% show up to any election day. If I can get that 30% to wake up, I'm going to make the special interest groups not like me, because they're going to pay. They're going to pay. They're going to pay those tolls. They're going to walk through those. They're going to walk downtown. You have 1 million people go watch the fireworks. You have 1 million people showed up to the NFL draft.
Millions.
So we will have we have hundreds of thousands show up to any game. You will have a Tiger game going on and a festival going on at the same time at Hart Plaza. Okay, we had Technofest and we had a Tigers game. Sidewalk toll. I can't get a toll on the street because Lansing is not going to allow it, because all those Lansing people that live in Lansing, and to the people who don't know, every time I say Lansing, up in Lansing is the capital of Michigan. So up there they pass
Lansing is where they run.
They passed all the laws for all the small counties and the municipals. Since we're the largest city in Michigan, they got our foot on our neck.
Now, Antoine, how do you respond to the critics that say you crazy? A sidewalk toll, you out your mind. Ain't nobody about to be paying to walk to the sidewalk. Elaborate.
It's not paying. It's just a toll. Just like when you go to New York and go to Chicago and you cross the street, go through that street and cross the freeway, you're just paying a toll. You'll pay 2-3 tolls just to get somewhere in a city. Okay, you try to go around the toll. So I can't put it on the street because Lansing's not going to allow us to find this revenue. They took Kobo from us. They took Kobo from us, and the state took it and sold the name rights to Huntington Bank. Now Kobo Hall is now called Huntington Place. They took it from the city of Detroit after they locked up the administration and took it. That money, we needed that. They took the water. We needed that money for the city of Detroit. Okay, so they took the water. So now, I'm not going to go through Lansing.
They could say it was a mismanagement of funds. Let them tell it.
Well, we weren't getting the funds for that was allocated to us anyway at the state level. If the state said we got funds allocated to the water and the funds allocated to Kobo, we're not going to give it to you because we want it. And who you going to tell? City council. 2, 4, and 7, we run that too. Right. Oh, what you going to go tell the president? So city council got on a plane and flew to Obama at the time and told on the state.
It's like they try to beat you to the jump with everything.
Yeah, so they went and told on the state they weren't getting funded. So they took it. So at the end of the day, the sidewalk toll will be for the sidewalk scattered throughout downtown and entering downtown. Sidewalk tolls. with our police and our security that we always use to do street traffic and handle traffic anyway. So I have to find funding.
Make sure everybody on the Detroit side heavily involved.
Yep,
Whether
and not
it's
just that.
Police, ambulance, whatever.
And everybody who goes down there and pay the toll, only people who will be exempt from the tolls will be senior citizens in the city of Detroit. That's it. Senior citizens will be the only one exempt in the city of Detroit. All residents will pay the toll too, because those tax dollars will fund the summer youth program. Those tax dollars will fund that free snow removal and grass removal. That will generate millions seasonal. Millions.
Now, fellas, speaking of funding once again, now talk to me about your relationship with this wonderful guy right here, man, and how that stemmed. And then also, Peter, if you could just share with our audience for a little while, just some information on being in the banking industry. I'm just curious myself, like, just what was that like for you? You know, just educating yourself, moving along the way, and working yourself up the ranks, man. Talk to the people about that.
I'm going to answer this question, then I'm going to swing it to him.
Okay.
I met him in the real estate game. And he had good information on how the city worked, because I'm always a city hunger person, how the city worked, trying to figure out why we act the way we act, why my brother got killed in the city, why my dad caught cancer, you know, and it all boils down to you're a product of your environment. Okay, and so when I met this guy, I always try to get information from people who know my city, and this guy was a treasure chest of information, and I trolled him, all right, digging in his beautiful brain of Detroit knowledge and finance knowledge, and he filled in the secrets of, you know, I knew Detroit couldn't get funding from banks. I knew Highland Park couldn't get funding from banks, and the only black bank funded Highland Park and saved it. And I knew it was all about funding and people holding up the funding, saying you can't put a Walmart here. Feds flying in and said don't finance nothing in the city. You finance Anthenium, Greek. I knew these things. There was something deeper and darker to it. Mm-hmm. Why the families was broke up? Why the women are single in Detroit? Why are the juveniles getting incarcerated? Why is I go in the county is everybody's got a gun charge because everybody's scared? So he had all that information to fill in a lot of blank spots, and I trolled him.
Like an information guru.
Yeah, and I trolled him. And
financial guru.
And we became good friends, and he's a backer from a campaign, and he helps. I seen him help a lot of people in the city of Detroit and sacrifice his time and money for people in the city of Detroit.
Now talk to us about that, Peter. What made you just want to sponsor this gentleman, man, and get behind his movement? And more importantly, what made you believe in him and what he had to say and the things that he wanted to do as far as making Detroit a better place?
Well, really, it's that he's interested in the neighborhoods and in families. He has an excellent family, extended family, you know, from his mother and his wife, and so and his children, they all respect him, and he contributes a lot to them, and so he's been in the neighborhoods like me, doing housing, and he's also been also a serial entrepreneur with businesses constantly doing businesses in the community. He had a business, a health food business on Van Dyke.
I remember that. Eat to
The
live.
city just no assistance whatsoever, just slamming it, and it was very good, especially it focused in on African American health. Specifically what the needs for their food needs are. And now it's come actually full circle. He was way ahead of his time, because that was already, 5 years ago
before
or so?
COVID.
Yeah,
so
that
was longer than that.
Yeah, it was before. So
before
let's say
COVID.
10 years ago.
About
now,
10 years.
Yeah, and now we got a new health secretary, and now they're focusing on food right now. So 10 years later, it's really the movement on food's gone national. Now, you were asking me about my career. Well, I was my father at one time was the head chef at the Detroit Athletic Club, and I worked down there as a young man. And what happened was I decided that one of the wealthy sons was coming along, and I was serving him for Easter dinner. So I decided to throw my apron out and said, "No, I'm not going to serve him the rest of my life." And I decided I'm gonna get my education, and went to University of Michigan. And unfortunately, I came out of University of Michigan at the wrong time, right during the 21% prime rate. People don't understand that. They think the economy is bad right now, but if we don't get our act together on things, it could get worse. And so no banks really were interested in hiring me, so the Japanese hired me. And at that point, moving up the bank, I knew what was happening in Detroit. And we had a strong mayors in Chicago, the Daley family. And you had to, in Chicago, if you wanted to get something done, you had to go see the Daley family. And that was normal. But just because Coleman Young was one of the first black mayors, the white establishment thought, well, we're just going to boycott him. And I had a different attitude toward that. And I met some wonderful people. David Baker Lewis, you can look him up. He's been in Detroit. He's not here right now, but and then Bella Marshall, very, very fine people, highly educated and advanced degree. And I was really happy to, back then in the 80s and 90s, to be working with them. So there's Coleman Young really put in place an old legacy of that Detroiters could do it themselves. That was his thing. Mm-hmm. And you need to take that. You need to take that back again. McDonald for mayor is about that, taking it back, and getting it back, and back away from. You just don't need, the way Detroit is right now, you just don't need to subsidize big mega projects in downtown Detroit anymore. You gotta work more with the families, and that should be the focus right now. And candidacy, McDonald for mayor, that's what he's all about. And you don't have to give all these giveaways. I would think that if you stop the giveaways to billionaires, you could probably have enough money to end property taxes for residential, people that live here.
That's a big thing I want to do, and I want to start with ending property taxes with senior citizens and work my way up for residents. That meets a certain criteria anyway, and eliminate the property taxes. But in between time, I want to make sure Detroiters have a way to get property and understand how to obtain these properties. Because right now they're doing a liquidation on all properties, and you're going to be paying rent. They're looking at you to be a renter in Detroit, okay? And then they subsidizing you and getting your Section 8 vouchers and your low-income vouchers outside of Detroit. So they moving all of y'all outside of Detroit so they can come in and take the land at the same time. So they clearing you for your subsidizing outside of, and they taking those old apartment buildings and these suburb areas, and they turn them into low-income housings to get you outside of Detroit.
They just bought them apartments right there in Chicago by Little Caesars. You seen them apartments that was all messed up, and somebody just bought them. They getting them together right now.
Yeah, and we had 10,000 people move in the city, and another 10,000 rehabs last year. So between the 10,000 rehabs we had and the new 10,000 influx into the city's on the move. Property value's going to go up. They want to create you to be a consumer and a renter. Vote for McDonald. You're going to hear more about things we're going to talk about. I'm going to come back on this show and talk about some other things. But right now I want to bring in my significant other and highlight some of the things that we're going to do with the family and let you see my better half. All right? We'll be right back.
Slapz and Trapz Radio.
Honest Conversation, the podcast. We got Antoine Mcdonald in the building. Antoine Mcdonald for mayor.
GetDetroitCoins.com.
Get them coins.
Get
Go
Detroit
them coins.
coins
Get them,
dot
let's
com.
get these
Yeah.
coins, Detroit.
Nah, we just had Peter on. Peter just gave us some game, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully y'all soak it up and apply it and pay attention to this history lesson that we giving y'all. But we got the homegirl Kay back in the building. What's up, Kay?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing?
I'm coolin', man. Talk to me more about this campaign, man.
Well, when a king say they want to lead, you follow, because the king knows how to lead, and Mr. McDonald is going to be the light that Detroit needs. That's why he is the spirit of Detroit, and I'm here to support, to love, and to be by his side in all of the healing that I already do, because I am K Crystal. So I'm just beautiful support. And we'll be at all of the parks, different parks every weekend. So stay tuned. Follow my baby's Instagram, or go to Get Detroit Coins for more to see what parks we'll be at each weekend.
We're going to be at Bella next weekend. We're going to be at Chandler Park the following weekend, back at Rudge Park. We're going straight to the people. All right? It's only 600,000 people in the city of Detroit, roughly. And 10% show up to vote, okay? We're going to go to those 10%. We're going to find a new 10%. We're not going to find the old 10%ers that show up to vote the same incompetent, the same business, the same things that you see around the city. They're not fighting for trying to put cursive back in your school. They're not fighting trying to put more money in the summer youth program so your kids can stay busy all summer. They're not fighting to restructure the Motor City Match program to make that a focal point of matching our dollars and bringing awareness and getting us financial inclusion. They're not focused on your kids eating tons of garbage and fake candy and fake counterfeit stuff and expired goods and having lack of resources and information on diet and health.
Now talk to us about the importance of these summer programs, Antoine.
This is huge. That's huge. You know, some of my greatest childhoods was the summer youth program. You know, going and having a job and getting some lessons and getting out the house and having my first little couple dollars and being in the workforce. And that set the tone for me for later on down the line to continue to work as a high schooler, because the summer youth program job I have started at 13. And so that kept kids busy. That kept kids from trying to do things. Like people say, empty mind is negative playground. Should I say, I want to say, whatever, the devil, empty mind is the devil playground. But that is true. You gotta, social media is taking over and these devices is taking over, and kids persuade to different things. And city of Detroit, with our poverty level being 30%, if we don't have a big focus on the summer youth program, the cutoff date for okay, you ready for us? The cutoff date for it was in May. And so people really didn't know about that. When I talked to women with kids and fathers with kids, they didn't even know about the summer youth program. Some thought it was over, some heard about it, some like, when is it? Is it coming around? So that alone, not even knowing about it, bringing awareness back to where your kid can get employed, and then the funding is low for it, so the cutoff is in May, bringing funding back for it, tons of funding back for it, so we can have tons of kids back out here. When I was a kid, when you, in the summertime, you see all these sea of kids with different color shirts on, working for the police cadet, working for the parks, working for the schools, because I worked for a school and we did the maintenance of a school. Cut the grass. That's why I learned how to cut grass and mop floors, actually, is working at an elementary school. For the
summer programs also provided a lot of structure, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's missing, especially amongst these black youth in these black households.
Single parent household.
Yeah.
Single parent household. Single parent household.
Missing structure. You know what I'm saying? Which brings me to this. Why do you think that is, Twine, man? Why do you think it's a lack of these summer programs and we losing all of them? Do you think it's just strictly funding?
Or you think it's a bigger picture?
It's distraction. It's if I can distract you over here, you not focus on tons of kids not being employed and having resources in their city because you distracted with food and bills and light bills and 40 hours and being a consumer and then it's, your parents, it's going to be up to your parents. And if you dealing in a city and the parents are already dealing with a 40-hour work week and bills and distractions and just trying to find a peace of mind on the weekend, get a little drink, get a little sauna, spa day, and then deal with their teenager or their kids, that's a lot of distractions. So you're not going to be
almost like you're trying to escape reality for a little while.
Yeah, you are. So so it's going to be up to your city officials that you got up and heard them say, I'm for you and for the city and for the people, and I'm going to make sure that I'm for your kids because I'm taking money out your taxes. I'm taking money every time you drive and go to the gas stations. I'm taxing everything you do. I'm taxing your paychecks. I'm taxing. So when you hire these city officials, these public figures, hopefully they have your best interest. And hopefully they, is fighting for your kids. Hopefully they going to have a program set up all summer to keep those youth, urban kids busy. And that's got to be a focus from being self-pride and having them on a stringent summer youth program where, like it was when I was a kid, you can drive in the morning time in the summer where I was seeing a sea of kids going to summer youth. And not just that, I'm going to extend the summer youth program and just call it the youth program. With a $500 million windfall and a $150 million rainy day fund, I'm not going to touch that to fund the youth program.
When you say extend, you mean year round?
Year round. Because the summer youth program, we're just going to involve it with curriculars. Because they have programs where they paid you to get an education. They actually paid you to go to school. You had minimum wage. So you take vocational at Randolph, only if you get paid if you didn't have a high school diploma. So they pay you to go to the vocational schools and you go get a GED or high school diploma or whatever. And so I remember those programs back in the day. Those things work. So I will extend the whole summer youth program and call it the youth program throughout the year
where you don't want employment interfering with kids' education. You will have to involve those programs that ties in to education and make them lucrative for the youth.
So right now it's a partnership in the summer youth program where businesses get put on the list and we send you the kids, okay? And I know a few business owners that I know had their business on the list for kids, for employees. What business don't want free labor? Okay, even though you got a young youth in the city of Detroit, no telling what background he's coming from and what things he's having going on at his household, but he gonna need that guidance from that entrepreneur. And that's beautiful. I know one of shouts out to Crystal Clear Printing, one of the female black union printers in the city, and she picks up some summer youth program kids and they work at her print shop and learn skills and printing and they get to work up under a female entrepreneur as a kid.
Yeah,
like
she
those
everywhere. Shout out Crystal. What up, Crystal?
And those life experiences for youth are priceless. For me, it was priceless. And we got to focus on that. And then, before you get that teenager and don't know what to do with them, okay? All right?
Now, while you dropping all these gems on us, Twine, talk to me about family, man. How important is it having your queen out here with you while you campaigning? You know what I'm saying? We see you, man. You got your hands tied.
Yeah.
You got your son with you, you know what I'm saying, holding it down, man. Like, what is that like, man? Just still handling business and still being a father, a parent. Because, there's no days off. with this parenting. You know what I'm saying? So how do you find the time to just balance it all and, you know, still be a man of family? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you keep your lady with you, and you know what I'm saying, keeping her calm. You know what I'm saying, and protecting your family, because you know how this game is, man. When you it's a serious game, man. You know, this politics. So you know, just keeping your family safe and protecting your family, man. Talk to us.
It's a serious game because politic want to keep you asleep so you can stay consuming. Okay, so it's a serious game. We all we got. So if you can't show the unity, if I can't move as a unit, how I'm gonna get you to move as a unit? And you know, we're lacking love and finance. You know, and I'm from the city of Detroit, where the businesses are won by family. The We Buy We Fries, Kim Lee's Nails, the supermarkets, the clothing stores. So every business, majority of business I see in Detroit City is one with the family, one with their better half, and you just see it and know it growing up in the city, and it's lacking. And so if I can't project that, I can't win. If I can't push that on my people and push that on my city and people who seeing me, and you know, making sure my sons and my daughters and just holding the banner, holding, you know, it's no hope for us. It's bad enough, you know. You heard Pete talk about those statistics. A big percentage of household is incarcerated parents, and for even statistically in census, far as 6 to 1, for every 6 black females, 1 black male. You know, so it's missing. If this is a big, beautiful city, we got to put somebody in place where love works. Love conquers all. We know misery love company, but the love is the light. And sometimes if you got enough light, it'll shine over the darkness. And when you see the opposite sex, you know, the male or the female, you are attracted to his or her light. And so you just want to go to the light of her or him. You need to be smells, looks, vehicle, or whatever. It's the light, okay? And even if you want to move to Bloomfield Hills outside of 8 Mile, where the grass is greener and the neighborhoods are quieter, you know, you trying to go to the light. And so you're not gonna win without having your better half. And the sun is circle, so you can have a half a sun of the light. You can't have a half of a heart. It takes 2. And when you got the heart, it beats. And then we can pump. We can work together. Love gonna conquer all, you know.
Now, speaking of better half, man, Kay, talk to me about just rolling around with this man right here. What has that experience been like for you? And also, man, what are some of the things these women are saying out here? You know, you roll around, you hear these issues as he's campaigning. What are the ladies saying? You know what I'm saying? What would you say is on the ladies' mind? Talk to us, and not only us, but talk to the ladies, man. You know what I'm saying? And let them know that they do have a voice out here.
You're right. It has been an absolute pleasure to see this king go through the streets and talk to the people and actually be where the people are. Just to notice at Rouge Park yesterday that it's no bathrooms, just like it's barely bathrooms at Belle Isle. But if no one says it, you don't pay attention to it. So everyone's just, you know, relaxing and sleep. So if we wake up, it takes one person to wake up a whole community. And it takes one person to wake up one person, and then those people to wake up other people. So I'm glad my king is doing his part as a Detroit resident and showing that we more than just liquor stores and dispensaries, what generation after generation has been doing and not buying up the city, not buying property, not playing the game of Monopoly like we are supposed to. And for the women, us women, I know for the single moms, it's a lot of them, it's a lot of us, and we all need help. We need help from the bottom, from the kids as youth to on up. So I love that my king has a vision, and I'm going to stick with the vision and enjoy the vision, because his vision is seeing kids and community coming together, walking together, eating together, playing together, and just being peace and love as a community, as one. That's what's most important.
Yeah, because that's how they took over the business here. That's how the other ethnic groups and other those small minorities that infiltrated in the city of Detroit took over the business, because they got the power of family and love. So they strategically moved with their love unit and took over your chicken wings, took over your petrol, your gas, took over your communications. And so it's capitalism at its finest. It's America. There's nothing wrong with it. But when a group of people work together to keep one group of people asleep,
or multiple groups.
Multiple groups work together to keep people asleep and sick and unaware and disarray. It's time for a change. It's time for us to wake up and get our lick back. You know, it's time for us to pivot and realize what's going on and peek our head out the cloud. I got a 313 protocol. It's called the Mcdonald 313 protocol, where stickers and signs will be put up for tornado shelters, warming shelters. Like when I travel outside Detroit, you can go somewhere and you'll see an arrow say tornado shelter. Warming, different when something happened, a catastrophe happened in that city, they have different signs letting you know where to go. Fallout shelters. Here we have nothing. So they're waiting for something to happen so they can just, something can happen where we don't know where to go to protect our family, right? So the 313 protocol set up different signs all around the city to let you know where our warming shelters are, where our fallout shelters are, where our emergency shelters are. The little push button they have for emergencies where you're looking for police, where you see them downtown, the little cameras and stuff you see it where certain areas at. We're going to have those more out on the routes of kids going to school and in front of the schools, okay? And then we're going to have those more out where we're giving money out to fund private securities. And the biggest thing is getting Detroiters our own contracts.
Now
let me our own contracts.
Let me ask you this, Twan. Now, what's the plan, speaking of the schools, as far as protecting these babies? You know what I'm saying? The stepping security. We got to do something about these schools, man, and tighten up on our security. And fellas, I'm talking to every strong black man. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have daughters. You know what I'm saying? Granddaughters. You know what I'm saying? You need to be paying attention to what we're saying. It's important that we tighten up on the security, because these girls is getting snatched up out here. You know what I'm saying? It's getting wicked out here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you a story off camera about something that happened to me recently with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So you just speaking on this.
So like I was saying before, those emergency push button cameras, police mobile units you see around the city that's only on certain areas, I'm going to have those laid out on school routes and put out on school routes. Just in case you have a lot of kids still walking back and forth to school in the city of Detroit.
It's dark out here in the wintertime.
It's dark out here in the wintertime at 6 o'clock. That's what daylight savings is. So those going to be out on school routes. Reposition those, because we have them, and get more to station those up, because those are command centers. So when you see those little mobile units, those are being monitored at a police station 24 hours a day at a command center. So we're going to put those mobile units on the school routes, the elementary and high school routes. And then on top of that, the Self Pride Initiative where the city working with the kids is a lot of money, a lot of time going to be spent from traveling from the legacy buildings, the legacy landmarks that's in my 8-point plan. Go to Get Detroit Coins and see that 8-point plan, from having these kids travel from these legacy buildings and these landmarks and get educated and getting them filled up with pride from the city and the people who made it in the city, who's wealthy in the city. Kids are sponges. You know, you show them a basketball and football, they're going to soak it up, and that's what they want to be. You show them a bunch of rappers showing off a bunch of things, glitzy, that's what they want to be. And so I want to show our kids in our city legacy things and legacy people who made it in our city. When I ran Martha Reed's campaign, I asked her what was the main thing she inspired her to go run for city council. She said she wanted to put statues all around the city of Detroit of prominent people who made it. She feel that if little kids in the city of Detroit didn't see statues of people that looks like them in the city, they could feel proud. So she felt that the city need that. So she ran for city council. And she said she got so much drawback from Lansing and denials and that she couldn't get the statues up. And she was saying she wanted to put different singers that came out of Motown and various prominent people that came out of Detroit statues, so the little kids can see those prominent people that came out of Detroit in statues. So when I ran her campaign, she wanted to do that, and I asked her what other things she did that got approval through city council that was monumental for the city. She said, Martha Reed said she got a law in the books that they passed through council where anytime you evict somebody in the city of Detroit, you have to get the dumpster. Because she got tired of when you evict somebody, their stuff got set out on the street. Everywhere. And people took it and it blew up and down the street, created blight. And she put that on the books, herself personally. So Martha Reed inspired me when I was running her campaign, things that she thought of. And she said another thing when she was with Motown, because Martha Reed's a singer of Motown, she still toured during her councilwoman term.
That's right, Motown history, ladies and gentlemen. In case you don't know, look it up.
And during her Motown touring history and singing, and she still toured during when she was a councilwoman. She said every riverfront she's seen from the 60s, everywhere she toured from around the world and abroad and domestically and foreign, their waterfronts came up, except Detroit. And that's another reason she was running too. Got into be city councilwoman.
Now, speaking of that, Twan, now, without giving too much away, because we do want them to go to the website for more information, but talk to me as much as you can about this 8-point plan.
Okay.
And what it means to you and the importance of this plan and why the people should support this plan.
Most everything I talked about and on Slapz and Trapz platform, it was all covered in the 8-point plan. From reforming the Motor City Match program and extending it and making a primary thing and bringing awareness to it. From pride for the kids and building out and working in partnership with the Detroit Public School. Stop trying to create that conquer and divide with the Detroit Public School to divide us and conquer us, so the city can work in tandem with the school district. You know, having these tours at Ford Field, showing about the Ford family and how this family created these legacy buildings in your city. Show these tours in the city county with the spirit of Coleman A. Young, the first black mayor, and the building is named after him, and having these tours on the regular basis to show how the city works and having pride about the city. Showing the different licenses that, you know, foot peddlers license, foot peddlers license, vendor license,
Just history documented.
car license. Well, all these different licenses you can have to sell things at a lower level. If you don't have a brick and mortar business, these licenses are offered at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center, and having these tours with the kids showing how this inner workings of the city work on down from legislative, from zoning, from licensing, from everything, and having these tours in the city with the kids at Aretha Franklin, at Hart Plaza, at the museum. This partnership with DPS is 30,000 employees of the city of Detroit. The mayor get to hire 100. Remember that. When I come in, I get to hire 100 people to structure all these things to make sure I get it done. Just like Trump hired Elon to make sure he can get some things done over there, stop making some nice cars, and make sure my books get right, I get to hire some permanent Elons, 100, to make sure they work these deals with DPS, to make sure we get these partnership with these kids, to make sure we create these
Put the right people in position.
These 12 precincts that we have, and where we officers not allowed to live. And since I said this, they're not probably going to vote for me, right? Right? So I'm going to miss all those vote, but they don't even live in the city anyway. So what I care for, those police officers don't live in the city, so they can't vote for me anyway. Having those neighborhoods back safe with those officers in it, having that tax dollars and that money back into the city, having those working deals where we don't need a Walmart, where we're gonna not just have that co-op store on Woodward that's black owned or locally owned, having tours and coupons there, creating a database for the Motor City Match program, bringing awareness and a database and coupons for people to fund it. Because I don't want to have people getting money from the city of Detroit to open up a business and it's grand opening and grand closing.
Right.
So I want to make sure these people know where these businesses at, create a database, having my 100 staff, restructure that, making sure these people in the city of Detroit having billboards knowing where these businesses at, having coupons knowing to shop there, okay, so we can keep these businesses open and bringing awareness to it, okay? Wake our people up and keep us woke. Wake up. Wake up people, keep us woke. So the 8-point plan is everything that we've been talking about on down to taking those 12 precincts, police precincts, and making those mentorship programs. Restructuring, bringing more money to the PAL, the Police Athletic League, funding that more at a serious level, and bringing in alternative games other than just football and basketball to our little sponges.
Right.
So they can bring in AI and tech games and gaming tournaments that's going to pay for college and pay for various things. Golf and chess, where we can work the left and the right side of our spongins, our little youth, our kids of Detroit. Okay, reforming that. That's in the 8-point plan. Okay, reforming all these different things that works, that I knew worked when I was a youth, and why it don't work anymore, why they stopped it, and bringing awareness back to you so you can vote accordingly, so you can feel passionate writing McDonald, not because your kids say it wants the McDonald's mom, okay? So you can feel passionate writing my McDonald name on the ballot, okay? Not just write my McDonald name on the ballot, write Antoine Mcdonald name on every part of the ballot that's missing somebody. So if you see somebody running on the ballot and nobody's running against them, write Antoine Mcdonald. If you see a position in the city, it's empty, write Antoine Mcdonald. It's been time I went and vote, and I'm looking at this ballot. People are running by themselves. Nobody running against them. I've been times voting in the voting booth. A position is open. Nobody's running for that position. And so the power of the pen, I want to teach y'all that power of the pen because Mike Duggan learned it. We wrote his name in, and he is the mayor of this great city of Detroit because we wrote his name in. I want you to do the same for me. But when you do the same for me, it's for your kids. It's for financial inclusion. It's for visible things you're going to see outside in your neighborhood. On down to the senior citizens getting their grass cut. On down taking my 100 staff that I get to hire. City council get to hire 25. I get to hire 100. Okay? And making sure these things get done. Making sure you know the word politic is not the word politic. Politic is your kids. It's your money that's in your pocket. It's how much money you get paid. It's the food you eat. It's the gas you pay. It's the bills that you consume. These people dictate all of that for you. So don't let them politic you. And don't keep getting Detroited.
Now, speaking of politics, Twan, man, I got one more question, then we can wrap it up. I know I done had you here for a while, man. I do appreciate y'all time, man, and appreciate you pulling up to the Slapz and Trapz Honest Conversation podcast.
I want to give you this interview. I want to give it to you first.
Because you know how I feel about important messages and just
People been
holding
waiting
down
for me.
the OGs and the 40 and up crowd anyway. So, you know, it's very important. But anyway, that's rather here nor there, man. My question to you is, speaking of politics, man, how important is it for the people to come out to these meetings and get involved, so you know what's going on in your neighborhood? Know these people, man. Y'all go to these elections every year and you don't even know what's going on. You just vote for somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, talk to the people about just the importance.
And you vote for these people, now you got porta parties at the park. You vote for these people and your kids getting a new juvenile facility getting built to lock your kids up. It's important because they don't want you to know. They want you to sleep. It's important because your kids see somebody like me, and they can soak that up, and they might not want to be a basketball player. It might not want to be a football player. So it's important for you to bring your youth out to see people like me, that looks like me, so we can rewrite the narrative. So we can change the perception. Okay? So we're not just running around here trying to entertain and consume things. All right? It's important for us to change the perception of our youth and the perception of our men and the perception of love and unity. And what better way is to wake our people up? We found out during the Big C, during that whole thing, the jab, the mask, well, we can't speak truthfully. If you speak truthfully, you might get your page demonetized. So we found out truth, they don't want you to hear. So at the end of the day, I can't really say what I really want to say. So vote for Antoine Mcdonald. I want you to be passionate for your city. I want you to show them the power of the pen. When you vote for me, you telling everybody, not just Detroit, you telling the whole world you won't change. Because when Mike Duggan was a write-in candidate, the whole world broadcasted it, that he got in, and they won't change. It's still a lot of abandoned stuff. Police is still not allowed to live and can't work and live here. It's a lot of blight. It's a lot of opportunities that's not coming our way. It's a lot of things they're hiding. It's a lot of sick people in the city of Detroit, hospitals and everybody working together. So it's a lot of things going on in the public school system that you don't control. And I'm going to show you do have control. The power of the pen. You're going to vote early at the Spirit of Detroit statue. You're going to go down there and vote early. You're going to write my name in. Only 10% show up. So those 18, them 34-year-olds, those ones going to those dispensaries, go write my name in. If you at a dispensary, go write my name in, Antoine Mcdonald. If you at a liquor store, go write my name in, Antoine Mcdonald, okay? Show them that you're not just full of liquor stores and dispensaries. Please. Please do it for the kids. Please do it for locking your doors. Please do it for not leaving stuff on your seat, scared of your own people. Please do it for every gun you ever seen. Hey, look, this new gun I bought. It wasn't to kill no Arabic or no Chinese kids, to kill your black youth. Okay? Everything you seen, lock my doors, fearful, I got to do this. You're going to vote for that. So we can change that whole perception and narrative. And then I'm going to have a march with all youth with blazers on, with the Spirit of Detroit. I want them to meet me every weekend in a minute. Downtown. You're going to see me marching with kids with blazers on. Okay? And I want them to see. I don't want them to be focused on
amongst the people so they can see you.
I want to see. I want
be able to touch you.
The biggest fear is them to see a bunch of 6 years old to 18-year-olds walking downtown with blazers on, with McDonald for mayor, because they ready for a change. That's what I want to see. And when I told people that and tell people that, women say they want to cry. Why? Because they know that's not in the diaspora of them. You don't see the black family waving at the Manugan mansion, closing the door, and you feel proud for your city. They're going to take that out your diaspora. Which way to conquer a people? You break up the family. And you feed them poison. And you let other ethnic groups in to come and sell you everything. It's real simple. And the people stay asleep because they doing 40 hours, making sure DTE stay on. But then you watch 8 videos that get free power on Instagram or Facebook, but still don't know how to apply it to your house and still kicking out $500-800 to DTE. While they put solar panels on Greenfield with DTE on them and selling you solar panel power. Mm-hmm. So now let's get to a point where we can set up, Highland Park is getting their street lights because DTE took their poles when I had property over there because they owed a bill. So they took the poles out. So neighborhoods band together to get solar powers. Yeah, they took the poles out of the ground because they owe money. And they took the DTE.
They said they had one of the highest bills ever. I remember that. Them and Fairland. I remember they turned the power off at Fairland.
It doesn't even matter what bills they have. You got state and federal funding. We pay for a lot of other things. Why we can't keep the lights on for kids at the city? At a city. We ain't say keep the lights on at their house. So we pay for a lot of other stuff. We pay for crumbling roads over and over again. You live in Michigan, you will see somebody fixing the road 7 times. Okay? So it's like...
Still be messed.
So at the end of the day, we pick and choose who gets money, what construction groups get money. Hey, Bob, you got a construction company. I work for the city. You about to go get the construction contract for these 8 roads, all right? I'll see you at the resort at Disney next year. And these are how these things work. When you hear somebody getting a contract for something, these are people that's getting money. I'm not going to let Detroiters get politicked. I'm not going to let them get Detroited anymore. I need them to wake up. Okay? They want me to go talk to the churches. It's 1,200 registered churches, but nobody put in homeless people. Nobody housed homeless people. 1,200 registered churches in the city of Detroit. 2,000 gas stations in the city of Detroit.
We talking about really house them, not just give them some food.
No,
do a turkey drive.
They only got to house them and make sure they got somewhere to stay. I'm just saying, let them stay the weekend and exit them out during Monday. Okay, everything's for profit. Everything's for capitalize off the person. Everybody come here and rape and pillage Detroit and build a $600,000 house
and rape until it's a lending company. Everybody making money off Detroit, but Detroit Arabs. But they don't want you to make Detroit because they need servants. I mean, everybody needs servants. I need you to serve me downtown. I need security. I need somebody to serve the food. If I don't create a bottom class people, how I'm going to have servants? The bottom class people want $25 an hour to work at McDonald's.
So this is a system that's created that must work. I'm here to bring you to the light because we all we got. And so if I can make my last name great, and like a great artist said, if I don't spark, if I'm not the one for the change, maybe I can spark the person in the brain for the next change in that person, in that child, in that youth. If I can't do it, maybe I can spark the next one. And that was quote from a late artist. Okay, I don't want to quote his name, but some people know who we are. And that'll be my legacies. We all we got. Write that name, Antoine Mcdonald.
Antoine Mcdonald.
Change your future. See a change right outside your door. Write the name, Antoine Mcdonald. Go up and vote. Show them you're passionate. Mike Duggan was a write-in candidate. Nobody wrote his name in that was passionate for Detroit. Write my name in so you can see the change outside your door. Where your grandma who owns a property get in her grass
real
cut.
Detroiter, we really in Detroit.
You're really in Detroit. Okay? I'm in Detroit right now. I'm still getting I'm over here. Somebody gave me a ticket and told me what's up with these tickets. We're gonna issue out more
real
tickets.
Detroit problems.
Real Detroit problems. We're gonna issue out more tickets for grass. You know, leave it up to me. These type of tickets will be issued out for grass all through. Okay, your grass not cut. All right. So this is like a grass cut ticket. Somebody said, "I got a grass cut ticket." Okay, we'll cut your grass. All right, cut your grass.
Well-
If not, I will create the grass problem to fund the summer youth program. So all the tickets that you be getting for speeding tickets and license suspending tickets, that money has not been going to your kids. Okay. Detroit has had a habit of having the highest insurance. Detroit has a habit of having the highest tickets. We're known to drive around here with suspended license and known to drive around with insurance. So who's making that money? Okay. That has to get reformed. Okay.
Because we sure can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have open forums where you're gonna have at the Spirit of Detroit. It's gonna be a complaint box. I'm gonna have one literally made, put at the Spirit of Detroit statue, where a Detroiter can come in and put a complaint in the box. No emails, no nothing. A complaint box about any city official, any city police, any city person, any resident, any neighbor. And out of my 100 staff, they're going to go through that box and see if anything through there that they can literally affect the person in the city of Detroit. So when you vote Antoine Mcdonald, this is literally for the spirit. You go down there and see that statue and that spirit, it got the people in the light. We're not in the light, 30% under poverty. We're not in the light. There go the people. Let's go get us to the light. Go show us the power of the pen. Just like Mike Duggan, we show him the power of the pen. Show me the power of the pen. Somebody you for. You ain't never seen Mike Duggan family waving on no TV and his family and friends. You don't see that. Okay. Nothing against him. Great man. All right. But I want my people, the spirit of Detroit, with that statue with the light in his hand. I want us to let's go to the light together. All right. We're not full of liquor stores and dispensaries. And the only reason we smoke that much or drink that much because we trying to go to the light.
So let's get our lick back.
So let's get our lick back. No more raping and pillaging from the city of Detroit. All right. Financial inclusion, financial awareness, and family pride. Youth pride. Have our youth being proud of this city. Okay.
So with that being said, man, thank you for coming on the show, man. Antoine Mcdonald for mayor. Miss K. Crystal in the building. You know what I'm saying? Anything you want to tell the people before we get up out of here, man, besides vote for Antoine Mcdonald?
Wake up, spread peace and love through the city
Wake
and
up.
through the world, and vote.
And vote. Use that power of the pen. Wake up, Detroit. Wake
August
up.
5th or early vote.
Early vote. Hit the Spirit statue. I'm gonna be downtown every weekend. Get your kids ready. Bring your youth down there. Meet with me. Put them a blazer on. I have some shirts for them. Put them up, and we gonna
Shout
march
all your
down
social media info out too, so the people can tap in with you, man. For those that don't know, we'll make sure we put it down at the screen too.
McDonald, Detroit next mayor. McDonald _ Detroit next mayor. McDonald, Detroit next mayor, and YouTube same
thing, but just go to Get Detroit Coins. Get Detroit Coins. Get your coins, Detroit. Go to Get Detroit Coins. Go there and see Land Bank links. Go there and see my campaign. Go there and register to be a volunteer. Thanks to all the volunteers and thanks to all the gifts that I've been getting. I don't call nothing donated. It's a gift. Thanks for gifting me. Okay? So I can keep this message going and the movement going. It won't stop. Okay? I need the youth to get into politics so they can know what's going on with their lives. Or
why their mother this way, why their dad this way, why the situations that are surrounding this way. Okay? We can't let them glorify our music. We can't let them take our imagery and our sound and our stuff and just make it where we just consume it. And we consume, we spend till we dizzy. We have no family, no legacy, no assets, don't know what politics are, don't know who are we voting for and what the reason we're voting for. As long as the lights on and the food is there and the restaurant is open. Come on now. Wake up, Detroit. Please, wake up. Please, wake up. McDonald for mayor. Let's get our lick back.
For mayor,
Let's go.
We out, man. Slapz with Trapz Radio, Honest Conversation Podcast, man. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is the platform for the mature crowd.
40 and up. So if that's you, this is the place you want to be. I want to thank my guests today for coming. This has been another great episode of Honest Conversation. Make sure you go to Get Coins, Get Detroit Coins, and that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Change takes everybody. You can't just be talking change and not acting on it. So with that being said, man, we out, man.
Use the power of your pen. Use the power of your pen. All right? Let's vote for the change. Let's get our lick back. If you don't know how things work, you about to know how things work. If you care for your kids, you care for your man, you care for your one man, you care for your roof over your head, okay? Let's show them that we're not just liquor stores and dispensaries and restaurants, okay? Let's do it for
Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms as well, wherever that may be. We there, Slapz and Trapz Radio, Honest Conversation. Look for the logo with the microphone. You will see us. All right?
I got a shirt for you too. This your shirt.
Thank you, man.
I know you be clean and white at the DJ, so I'm gonna give you a white one. So you
man. See, I guess they love us here at the Slapz and Trapz show, man. They come with all type of things for us, man. We appreciate it dearly, man. But that's what it's about. All jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, man, get out, man, vote, please, man. Write-in candidate, Mcdonald for mayor, man. Be the change you want to see. It starts within you. All right.
Let's get our lick back. Come on, let's get our lick back.
And on that
Financial inclusion. Include us. I'm gonna show you how they gonna include us. Get them coins and go grab you a Spirit of Detroit meme token. Learn crypto. Spirit of Detroit coin. Yes, learn crypto.
You're tuned into Slapz and Trapz Radio, powered by the Slap God, C. Austin the DJ.
Oh boy, Slapz and Trapz. Yes sir. Radio podcast. See Austin, I see you, baby. With the Slap God. We up in here now. See Austin the DJ. Yes. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm juan-o, the greatest show on earth. Check it. Word to the Slap God, let's talk. Spend about an hour to compress thought. An honest conversation with C. Austin. Subscribe for the updates, it will be often. With an ear to the street, kicking that street dung with a clear tongue. Is it clear to my peeps? Good, we can proceed. The guests on this podcast, nothing but some G's. Smash that subscribe button, that's what it's used for. Ring that bell like you just sold a used car. Slapz and Trapz, radio podcast. Don't compare us to the rest. We a contract.
Slapz and Trapz Radio.
Slapz and Trapz Radio. Slapz and Trapz Radio, Volume 1. The compilation album presented by C. Austin. Available right now on all streaming platforms everywhere.